Hi, amazing friends. Happy Monday and happy 2026. Can you believe it is a new year? Absolutely crazy. I hope you guys are doing well. I have really cute cards for tonight. We are going to repeat a bundle, but I have new designs, so you're going to love it. But first, if this is your first time catching me live or watching me on the replay, go ahead and put this emoji down in the comments so that I can say hello, welcome you to my channel. Make sure that you have clicked the subscribe button in YouTube and the bell so it'll let you know anytime that I go live. Also, I would love to send you a card in the mail. You can go in my description if you look for the rainbow emoji, the link right beside the rainbow emoji in the video description will take you to the sign up list for my card mailing list as well as my email list. All right, and let me see a couple other things really quick. So my monthly in-person classes are starting this Thursday. So if you are local to Indian Trail, Charlotte, Monroe, North Carolina, you can look in the description for the emoji, the apple emoji, and that gives you the link to sign up for that class. It is only in person, so anybody local that would love to join me, look in the description for that apple emoji. Also, a couple links in the description. There is my YouTube playlist links. Look for the little camera emoji, and then to shop with me for any products that I'm using tonight, look for the little shopping bags, and then the supply list for tonight's items of what I'm using, look for the little pencil emoji. And I'm going to point you down, but we are going to look at the cards from my first live. And let me point you, actually, let's do the bundle first. So tonight's bundle is the On Display bundle. I love this bundle so much. If you, again, want to shop with me, anything from this live or anything else from Stampin' Up, look for that shopping bag emoji in the description. And hands down, so these are the projects that I had on my November 10th live, and if you would like to see these, you can look for the plant emoji in the description. It's towards the top, and that has the link for the video with these cards here. So one of them that we made is this one here. Isn't this super cute? Opens. Absolutely adorable. We had this one here that did the whole bookcase. So cute. And then we have this one here. I loved this one. It's so simple but beautiful. And then my favorite is this one here. And it pops up just like this. Let me see if I can get it so you guys can see. Pops up like this. So it'll sit down as an easel card here. So if you are interested in seeing these cards and how these were made, again, look in the video description for that plant emoji, and that will give you the link for these. All right, so let's get into tonight's cards. Our first card that we are going to start with is this cutie patootie right here. You guys know I love to create my own DSP. So we are going to create this one right here tonight. And for this, we are going to need a Secret C card base, a Pretty in Pink mat. This is a 1/4 inch smaller than the card base. And then we're going to do a piece of basic white, which is also a 1/4 inch smaller than the Pretty in Pink here. Then we're going to have a piece of Secret C for the mat for our sentiment, and then a piece of basic white to go in there for the sentiment. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how I created the background here. So we're going to grab our stamp off paper here. And here we go. We are going to stamp in Pretty in Pink and in Old Olive. So I'm going to stick this paper. I'm going to grab this one stamp that's stuck on here. And I'm going to grab both my stamps. I'm going to grab the little pot, and then I'm going to grab the little Monstera leaves. And I liked doing this together, where I did one and then immediately did the other. I thought that it worked much better this way. So I'm going to pop up both of these here. I am going to grab my Old Olive. I'm going to open that up. And then I'm going to grab my Pretty in Pink. Pop that open. All right. So first what we're going to do is we are going to use our leaves here, our Monstera leaves. And I am going to ink these up. My Old Olive is a little bit on the drier side. I need to re-ink it. All right, so I am just going to stamp once, and then I'm going to take my pot here, and I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that pot right there, right underneath. And then I'm going to do that again. And again, I found it easier this way because then I knew how to space them out a little bit. Let's see, we'll go this way here. So I'm going to stamp this one down. I'm going to grab my pot here. And then stamp that one there. And we're just going to keep going. Just like this, we're just making our own little DSP here. Do our The Neighbors Got Home. My dog Dublin is letting you know that because it's very important that we know that. All right, so I did about 5 of these, but I think I'm only going to get 4 the way that I spaced these out with the go. We might be able to do, let's see. Oh, darn it. I knew I was going to do that. I stuck that right in the Pretty in Pink. Let me see. Grab my tissue here. Make sure I didn't get green in there. It's the only reason I don't like doing 2 stamp pads at the same time. All right, so green, Cassie green. So we're going to ink this one up. I'm going to go this way, I think. I'm going to go like this. This one's the pink. Stick that there. All right, and then I just filled in with my leaves on the sides here. And I tried to get it when it was on the side to where I wasn't going to need to do the pot. So we're just going to kind of go around, add a couple of these. Isn't this so pretty? I love this set so much. All right, let's see. Let's do a little one here. And then we'll do this little guy right there. And then this one. I think we need one up here. There we go. All right. And I am going to, I think, try to put my pot on this one here. So let's see. Just like that. That works. I don't think any of the other ones. This one here. Just to kind of keep it cohesive. There we go. Isn't that so pretty? Oh, I love it. All right. So we're going to close these up. And again, that was Old Olive and Pretty in Pink. Put that back up there. I'm just going to wipe these off really, really quick so I don't accidentally get ink all over me. All right, so this is our background here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our Secret C, and then we are going to bone fold just like this. Then we're going to grab our Pretty in Pink and our stamped piece of basic white, and I'm just going to take my green glue. You can use your Stampin' Seal if you like that. And this is just a 1/4 inch border. So this basic white piece here in the middle is 3 3/4 by 5. Isn't that so pretty? Now we are going to pop this up on dimensionals. Just like this. There we go. Pop these off here. And then this is just going to go right in the center of our card front here. Let's see. Just like that. Isn't that so pretty? All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to do our sentiment. And this sentiment is actually from the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar stamp set. It is this one right here. The On Display has quite a few sentiments in it, but they were just a little too small for what I was wanting. So I opted to go with the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our Secret C ink. And I'm just going to ink up my Big Thanks. And then here on my piece of basic white, just going to stamp that down. And I like to hold that for a second with the darker colors. Here we go. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? I love the mixture of the fonts there. Dublin, no. I have a bag beside me that I put all of my scrap paper in for recycling because I have a recycling can. And my dog Dublin is trying to get in there because he wants to chew up some of the paper. So I was trying to tell him no, so he couldn't do that. He's been getting himself into trouble here lately. He's been a wild, wild man. He chewed up my shoes the other day. I was so upset. They were not an inexpensive pair either. All right, so we have our sentiment here. And again, this is basic white and then Secret C. We are going to pop this up. I'm going to do 3 dimensionals here. And then I'm just going to put it down here in the, it opens this way, down here in this corner. Just going to make sure that, come here, it is straight, just like that. And then we have our pieces to go around it. So let's see, I've already stamped and cut them out. None of these are, these here are from the die set. So it's going to be this die right here to get these pieces. To get this one right here, it is this piece right here. And how I chose to do it, you can do it where you get the whole bottom part, like the pot. But because I wasn't going to be using the pot, I just went as far down to the edge of the paper as I could. So I didn't do the whole pot, but you can do the whole pot if you want, but that's why it looks like that. And then to create this, I stamped in Old Olive, and I used this stamp right here from the stamp set. And then I die cut these out with this die right here. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to start with our little palm here. And I am going to find my scissors. And I am going to cut a couple of these dimensionals. I'm going to stick one on this leaf right here and one here. You can put it on all 4 leaves. I waited until I put everything down, and then I went back and put it under those 2 leaves. Just so if I wanted to tuck something behind it, I was able to do that. All right, so I'm just going to take my piece here, and I'm going to stick it right under the corner here. And I'm just going to hide that little pot and then stick down those just like that. Isn't that so pretty? All right, and then we're going to do our 2 Monstera plants here. So I am going to, do any of you have one of these Monstera plants? I have one. I named it Monty, and I love him so much. He's so pretty. All right, so we're going to put one up here, and then one's going to go down here. And I just made sure that the points were on top of my sentiment. So I just I curled it a little bit like this so that these tips could go over top of my sentiment here. And then I just stuck that down there. And then, see if I can get this up here. I did the same here, and I like to flip mine around. You don't have to flip your card upside down. That's just how I like to do it. And I got really low to the bottom there. All right. Like this. I think I'm going to have to snip off a little bit there because my, let's see, we'll just snip. Do I need to snip it or is it good? Nope, it's good. It's right on the edge. But that's about the same. Well, it's a little bit shorter down. All right, then we have our 3 pieces here. So we have 1 in Old Olive and then 2 in Granny Apple Green. And how we're going to do this is one of the Granny Apple Greens is going to go here, and then we're going to have one, the Old Olive, and then on top of that we're going to do the Granny Apple Green. So let's go ahead and do this one first. And I just put just a tiny bit there on that corner. And I am just going to tuck it right under the sentiment there. I'm just going to hold that down for a second, make sure it's going to stick. Then, hoping this is going to, yeah, it'll go to the side. Perfect. So, put a little bit of glue there, and I'm just going to tuck this one right under here. And I'm going to make it go kind of sideways on this one because I want to make sure it's not going over the edge there. And then I'm going to take the other Granny Apple Green, and this one is going to go right over top of this one right here, our Old Olive. So I'm just going to shove that right up there. Got my thing right in the way there, my dimensional. There we go. Let's get this right here. There we go. All right, stick back down. Put another dimensional there. It pulled some of the paper off a little bit, but my dimensional was right in the way. Get that off of there. Here we go. All right. So just like that. And before it dries, you're able to kind of move it around, wiggle it. All right. And then we are going to embellish these. And for this one, I used, and I forgot to get them out, the low profile sparkle dots. And I used the green. I think these are garden green. I think that's a garden green. And I'm going to use one. I got to put them in here. I don't know. Do you guys have problems with the low profile dots getting them off when they're on like your table? I can't get them off. I always have to make sure I'm on the pad right here, like the paper. I'm going to stick this one here. There we go. And then let's do right here. Cute. All right, that is our first project. Isn't that so pretty? I love all the greenery here. It's just so, so pretty, so happy. All right, first project down. And for our next project, this over here, we are going to do this cute one right here. Look how cute. And this one does have quite a bit of stamping and die cutting, but I think that it's worth it for the look that it gives. All right, so for this one, we're going to do a petal pink card base. And then our mat here, which is a 1/4 inch smaller than the card base, is going to be Calypso Coral. Then the DSP we are using is this piece right here. The back is that little cloudy looking one. This is the kind of like the spa paper that came with the Hobby Haven DSP, which is that's the one I'm using with this. So we are going to green glue down our DSP to our Calypso Coral. I love doing pops of color with my mats like this. It just pops that DSP so nicely. All right, I'm going to unfold. Then we're going to pop this up with dimensionals. And I like to do one in the middle. I always think it gives it a little bit of extra stability, especially if it's going to go through the mail. So it's not going to sink in after going through all the steps in the mail. All right, make sure it opens this way. And we are going to stick this right here. Just like that. And believe it or not, I still do cards backwards. I just did one of my, I do our monthly make and takes for my team. And yeah, I did one of them backwards. So that one's going to be in my oopsie pile. All right, get this little piece over here. So we have one piece of basic white, which is going to be our little shelf right here. And then we have a piece of basic white that's going to be our sentiment, and then a piece of, this is pecan pie. So let's go ahead and stamp our our sentiment, and we're going to use Calypso Coral for that. Whoops. I don't use my Calypso Coral very much. All right, we're going to do the same sentiment. And again, this sentiment is from the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. I don't know if this is still in stock or not. I can't remember. All right, it was on the last chance list, last I saw. All right, so I am going to ink this up, and then we are just going to stamp this right in the center. Pop that off there. It likes to get stuck on some of these more juicy pads. All right, and then we're just going to, I don't want to get my fingers in it if it's wet. We're just going to glue this down to our pecan pie. Got a little something on it. I think I had something on my stamp. All right. So we have our sentiment. That's going to go down here. Now for our shelf here, you notice that it is kind of like a wood kind of color. I started with my piece of basic white. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab our paper here. I'll stick this right here so you can see what we're going for. And I'm going to grab my brown blending brush here. I'm going to see how much brown I have on here. I have quite a bit actually. All right, so I'm going to go in a circle one way and a circle back the other. And I'm just doing this very lightly. I just want a light coat to start with, because we're just trying to make it look kind of like it's wood. And then I'm going to take my pecan pie ink and I'm going to take my blending brush. I'm going to put it to the side, and just on this very edge right here, I'm just going to scrape it right across just to get just a little bit there. And what that's going to do is it's going to do a little swipe like that. And that's kind of what I'm looking for this, so that it kind of gives us little swipes. So I swipe it once to get the dark off, and then I do a swipe across with the last of it. So it's going to kind of go a little bit like that, and you just keep building. I went one way to the other, and I kind of went up, down, diagonal, and it just kind of gives it a nice little wood grain look. And you can add more if you want. I'm going to do this one a little bit lighter so you can kind of see those, kind of like, it looks a little bit like wood grain. Isn't that so pretty? This one was one of the ones when I was playing around with it, and this one got really dark, but I actually really liked it because I thought that it looked really pretty that dark. I'm just going to add a little bit more here. It just makes me think of like a wood plank that you put on your floor. All right. So that's where we're going to stop with that. Isn't that so pretty? Looks like wood, right? All right. Now we are going to, let's see, we can put this down here. And we will put that right there. So we can start assembling. So we're going to start with putting our sentiment down. And for that, we're going to use our dimensionals, of course. So we're going to put 3 dimensionals here. Hope you guys had a great holiday, great New Year. All right, and I'm going to put this really close to the bottom here. There we go. I think that's a little crooked. I always like to look at it head on to make sure it's nice and straight. All right, and what I'm going to do to see where I want the shelf to go is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick my plant down to where I'm going to kind of want it. And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball where I think I'm going to want that to go. And then I'm going to put 3 dimensionals across here. There we go. And with that still there. I just don't want it where my dimensional is. I am going to center this on from each side. Let's see, we're going to stick it right there. And then I'm going to make sure that it is straight. Just like that. Then we have the little snake plant here. This is in Old Olive. And this one here is this stamp right here. And then for die cutting it, it will be this die right here. Then we have our bottles. So we have, let's see, 2 big bottles. There's one Secret Sea, one Misty Moonlight. This one here is like the fancy kind of looking bottle. That one is Misty Moonlight. And then we have this one here, which is the small bottle, and this one is Petal Pink. And those are the small, the larger one, and then the fancy one. And the dies, this is the small, this is the larger one, and then this is the fancy one. So you can die cut those out. We also have, this is stamped in coral, Calypso Coral. That is this stamp right here. And die cut with this die. There's one inside it. So it's this one here. And then this die cut out this little Calypso Coral pot. And then, let's see, I'm going to show you how to stamp the kitty cat. This one here is this stamp right here. These two are separate stamps. So it's this stamp right here. And then there is a die for that. So it's going to be this one here. And let's see. Oh, again, this one here. This is in Granny Apple Green. This is Old Olive. And again, this one is that detailed die right here. All right. Oh, and we have our, I forgot, we have our little gold foil frame. And this one, I used the dies, and that I used this one here. And it cuts out that center right there. So when it comes out, it has a gold center, and you can just set that aside and use it for something else if you want. And then I have a piece of gold foil that is very thin that we're going to put across our pot here. But I'm going to show you how to do this kitty cat because it is a 2-step stamp for the kitty cat. So I'm going to grab a piece of basic white. Let's see, we don't need a huge one. We'll do this one here. For this one, I use crumb cake and early espresso. So I'm going to grab my crumb cake and my early espresso. And there are 2 stamps for this one. So we have, okay, right here. Let's see, where's my stamp? Stamp's right here. It might actually be easier to show you on here. So this is the background stamp, and this is the more detailed. So when you look at the cat, the lighter brown is this stamp right here, the background stamp, and then the darker is from this detailed stamp right here. So we're going to do these. Whoops, I dropped my block. All right, so I'm going to do the background first. So I have him on my block here. Make sure he's on there. And I'm going to put this in my crumb cake. He's also really cute in gray, using smoky slate and basic gray. Oh, he's really cute in that one. All right, so I have that inked up. I am just going to stamp that down. And there is a hair on there, so let's take it. It's what happens when you have dogs. And I just dog sat, so I have even more. Got to go vacuum. All right, so we have our background here. And I love this little stamp because look at the face. He has a cute little face. I love that it shows that detail there. All right, and then we're going to take our early espresso, and then I'm going to use the detailed stamp here, which is this one right here. And so the tail, this is the tail here. So when you line it up, it's just gonna go line up right like this. So I'm gonna ink this up. And it is a touch difficult to get it lined up. Let's see. Just like that. I like to get the feet and the head lined up. And that tends to, if you get the little feet and the head, the top of the head lined up, that usually will get you to be pretty close. I got a little bit off the side, but that is okay. And then to cut this out, there is a die for that too. So we have this die right here for the little kitty cat. All right. He's so cute. And he does dry darker because you notice on the card, it's not quite as dark. So when it dries, it's going to dry darker. For some reason, my crumb cake takes a little bit of time to dry to this color. All right, so this is, let's start here. So we are going to start with our snake plant here. So we're going to take our little coral, Calypso coral pot, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there on the very tip top. Whoops, come here. And I'm just going to glue that down. It's going to look like that. And then we're going to grab our dimensionals. Let's see, we can put this guy over here. And I am going to put 2 dimensionals here. I'm going to leave the base with some space down there so that I can overlap it on the shelf. And then I'm just going to stick that down. And then we're going to do our smaller plant, this one right here. So I'm going to take that smaller plant. Again, this is Granny Apple. Just going to put a little bit of glue on there. And then I'm going to take my little pot here and just stick that on there. And then I'm going to take my, this is 1/12 of an inch. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue across just a small portion of that. And then I'm just going to line this up at the very top. And then push that down. See if I can get this up here. Here we go. And then I'm just going to flip this over. I'm going to hold it really tight, and I'm just going to snip right at the very edge. Whoops. So then we have a cute little decorative pot right there. So this one we're going to want to go here. And I'm just going to kind of set these out so that I can kind of make sure I've got enough space. And then this one goes here. Yep. Okay. So we're going to start putting these down. So I'm going to take a smaller dimensional for this one. This one's going to go right here. And then we've got our larger. Let's see. I need to cut a couple of these, because these are a little bit skinnier. All right, so we're going to take our Misty Moonlight larger bottle, and I'm going to tuck it underneath that plant. So you can see that I put the plant leaves a little bit on top of that. Then I'm going to take the Petal Pink and I'm going to stick that one just slightly down. So it's just slightly further down than the Misty Moonlight. Then, they're on here, I'm going to take, let's see, the Secret Sea. Whoops, stay on there. This one, we are going to put this over just a little. Put that right there. And then, whoops, come back here. For the decorative bottle there, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the dimensional on the DSP here. So I'm just going to set it right there in the center and pull it off. That way I know when I put it down, it's not going to be on top of one of these two pieces. It's going to be flat across because I don't want it bumped up anymore. All right, there we go. Just like that. Then we're just going to take this little piece here of greenery. I'm just going to get a little bit of my glue. And then I'm just going to tuck it right under this pot. And just make sure I push that down to get it nice and stuck. All right, and then for, where'd our cat go? Did I lose my cat? Where'd the kitty cat go? I had him. You guys see the kitty cat? I had one. Here he is. I had one die cut already. There we go. For the little picture frame here, what I did, I stuck a little piece of DSP in there, and for that, I got my DSP out, and I think for this one, I actually used this one right here. Yep, I used this piece right there. So let's see if I have any. That's the closest one. So we are just going to snip this, and I'm just going to take my frame and I'm going to stick it on here kind of where I'm going to want it. So it's going to look a little bit like that. And I'm just going to snip and snip. So then we have that, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to stick this flat there. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on only two sides. And then I'm just going to stick this right down on top of that DSP. So it's going to look a little bit like that. And you can do that with any of the DSP that you like. I just happened to choose the little plant because it seemed to fit really nicely. All right, so I'm going to put my dimensional. Actually, you know what I did? I didn't do it that way. So because a picture frame is, the bottom is always tilted out, what I did was I cut one of these edge pieces. Come here, I just cut you. One of these little edge pieces. I stuck this one on the bottom edge. So we're going to go with, this is the bottom. I stuck that on the bottom edge, took off that paper, and then on that top edge, I put a little bit of glue. And then when I stuck it down, the bottom is popped out and the top is glued down. So it's got a little bit of a, you can kind of see it that way here. You can't really tell on camera, but you can tell when you look at it in person. And then for our little kitty cat, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to stick this dimensional right here. And then we are just going to take our little kitty. And we are going to stick him right over, push him down. And I did put a little bit of glue on his little tail and held that down for a second. How cute is this? Stick. There we go. Isn't that cute? All right, and then to embellish this one, I used the, let's see, these are the shades of green hexagons. This goes with the turtle suite. So we are going to use the Granny Apple Green. So I did one of these large ones. Let's do this one here. These are too small. There we go. And that is card number 2. Isn't that pretty? I really like this one. It's definitely out of my color palette. I don't usually do the coral, but it's still really, really pretty. All right, I'm going to stick this right back in here. This is how I keep my smaller pieces of DSP. This is actually from something that I got with Stampin' Up. I always keep the stickiness isn't there anymore, but I always keep my little plastic packaging from them, and I reuse it for different things. That way it's not getting all up in the trash. All right. Now we're going to do this one. I think this one's my favorite for tonight. It's right up my alley. Isn't that so pretty? I love this one. So for this one, we're going to use Coastal Cabana as our card base. Then we have a piece of basic white as our mat. And then we have our DSP, the back of the crafting piece. And then we have, for our sentiment, we have the Coastal Cabana and then our basic white. And we are going to glue down our DSP. Right here in the center. There we go. And then I'm going to bone fold this. Anybody is new to my channel, I don't like it when it pops up. So I'm a bone folder. I bone fold a lot. All right, so I'm going to pull a couple of these off. Let's just use this one to get that off of there. There we go. All right, so let's see, get these off here, and this is just going to go in the center of our Coastal Cabana. Got that a little crooked. That's okay. Let's put the opens that way. Yep. All right. There we go. And then for our sentiment, we're going to use Big Thanks again. And anybody new, that is from the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar stamp set. And we're going to do that in Pretty Peacock. They always get me with all the pretties and similar names. All right, so we are going to do, make sure this is one of my stamp pads that I need to re-ink. I'm just scared too because I get Pretty Peacock everywhere. All right, I'm just going to hold this for a second. It's a little bit faint on the thanks, but still really pretty. It doesn't look like it needs to be re-inked, but it's not stamping very dark. All right, so we are going to glue this down. Right here. And then this is going to get popped up. 1, 2, 3. And I do recommend not putting dimensionals on the corners because we're going to put our pieces around on the corners. You can always snip it off if you do. It just makes it a little bit easier if you don't put, is that open this way? Yep. If you don't put those on the corners. All right. I don't think that's straight. All right. And that alone looks so pretty. All right. So for this, I think we had I think I've shown you all the pieces that I have cut out here. So I have Granny Apple Green and Old Olive are my colors here. So the lighter is Granny Apple, the darker is Old Olive. And I'm going to start with my little palm leaves, Bird of Paradise. Pretty sure that's what that's supposed to be. So I'm going to put, I need to cut another one. Whoops, come back here. All right, so I'm going to put one on this guy right here. And again, I'm starting my in-person classes. If you're local to the Charlotte, North Carolina, Monroe, Indian Trail area. And this is the bundle that I'm using for this month. My first class is Thursday. So I'm just going to put this right under the corner here. And I'm doing the lighter one on the bottom and the darker on the top. All right, and then we get this one here. Pull those off, and then this one is going to go up here. Right here. Just like that. Then I liked doing the snake plants next, so I'm going to do the darker snake plant, and I give it a little bit of a cut to the side because it's going to be coming out a little bit crooked. So I'm just going to stick, I snipped it off, and I'm just going to stick a little dimensional there, and then I'm just going to stick this in here to the side, and I'm just going to make sure that I am covering up the edge down there, the white, so that you can't really see that white there. This little leaf will cover that. And then I'm going to do a Granny Apple snake plant, and this one will go right here. And then I want to put, let's start with this one. So we're going to do this monstera here. Stick a dimensional there. And again, I'm going to kind of push it together so I can get these tips on top of my sentiment here. And stick that down. And I'm going to go ahead and put this one on the bottom as well. This is the darker one, so this is Old Olive. This one's going to go right here. All right, now I'm going to work on the little vines, I guess is what they're called. So the dark one is going to go down here. So we are going to put a little bit of glue just at the top right here. And I'm going to stick this, tuck it right under here, kind of going to the side a little bit. Just make sure you push it down and underneath that sentiment there so that it adheres down. Then we're going to take one of the 2 granny apples, and it's going to go right up here. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to tuck it right under. I'm just going to push that down. Make sure it gets stuck. And then we're going to take our second snake plant here, which is going to go right down here. So for this one, we're going to take a dimensional. And again, I like to flip mine upside down so I'm looking at it straight. And this is going to go at a little bit of an angle, coming out like that. Then we have these 2 little ones. So the darker Old Olive is going to go up here at the top. I can get the paper off here. So it's going to fill in this little space right here. And then our lighter one, which is the granny apple, is going to be stuck right down here in between the snake plant and our monstera. And then we're just going to take this last granny apple green vine. Again, stick just a little bit of glue. That was not a little bit, that was quite a bit. Rub some of that off. And I'm just going to stick it down right at this top corner here. And a little trick, if it gets sticky, you can take your embossing buddy and just lightly pat over top of it once it's dried to get that sticky to go away. And if it turns your paper a little bit white, take a very, very, very damp cloth and just very lightly rub over, and that'll get that powder color off. Isn't that really pretty? I kind of want this guy to be over a little bit more because he's got this space. They got to be spaced. Come here. There we go. That's better. Not pretty. And then we are going to embellish with the Shades of Green Hexagons. I don't ever use these. They're really pretty though. So I was excited to use these. So I think this is supposed to be Pretty Peacock. I'm not totally sure, but I think it's supposed to be Pretty Peacock. And so that's why I chose this color, because we use Pretty Peacock for our sentiment here. Here we go. And that's our third card. How pretty is that? I love this design. It's really, really pretty. All right. And our last project for tonight is this one right here. It's kind of a 2-for-1. So this is a pocket envelope. You guys know I love these so, so much. And on the inside, we have our cute little card. Isn't that adorable? So we're going to make both the envelope and the card. So let's do the card first. And that one needs these 2 pieces. I'm going to stick this guy over here. And I'm going to take a drink really quick. All right. So we have Secret Sea card base. I'm going to unfold that. Stick these guys up here. And then for our mat, we have Petal Pink. And then our DSP is this really pretty green. It's the back of the cooking or baking DSP. So we are going to glue this to our petal pink. Whoops. And then pop it up on our Secret C card base. Here we go. Oh, and you know what? I wanted to show you another design for that last card using, or it's the same design, but it's using a different piece of DSP there. So it kind of, it's the same, but it gives it a very different kind of vibe. So you can switch out that DSP. I forgot I wanted to show you guys that. All right, so we're going to pop these off here, and then this is going to go right here. Here we go. And our sentiment here is actually from the bundle. So it's a birthday for the books. Let's see. This one right here. Let me get this little guy stuck back there. It's this one. I wish they had them written down on there because I can't, I have a hard time reading them. All right. So we're going to put that on a block. This is Secret C, and this one is Petal Pink, and this is the Textured Notes dies. And we're going to do Secret C ink here. So I'm just going to ink this up. And then we're just going to stamp this right in the center. There we go. Oh, that's so pretty. All right, so that looks like that. Isn't that font combination so pretty? Then we're going to take a couple of dimensionals, and we are going to pop this up on that Secret C Textured Notes. And this, I don't know if you can see the texture here. See that texture? This is, I think, the third size in, and then this is just the one size above. I don't have those out, or I would look. Let's see. Pick this up here. Get this here in the center. All right. And then this is also, this is why I should not put these on the table. Sometimes I'm good about it and sometimes I'm not. I get in a hurry. All right, we are going to put this up on dimensionals as well. And I am going to do the corners for this one because I want to make sure it's nice and stable since it's going inside an envelope here. Like a pocket envelope, not like a regular mailer. All right. Did I get them all? Nope, missed one. Okay. Opens that way. And then I stuck this right in the center this way, and the center this way. Or as close to center. It kind of messes with your eyes with the print here. That plaid-ish print. All right, and then for all the cutouts here, let's see, the candle, the lamp, all the books, and then this little coffee mug are from the DSP. Oh, and these two, the glasses and the little bookmark. Those are from the DSP, and it's from this piece right here. So we've got the lamp here, this particular book stack, it has the flowers with it, so it's this one right here, and I just fussy cut these. This book set here with the little candles on it is this one right here. Let's see, we have the little candle. I just cut, I think I cut the candle off of this one because the top here was cut off. So just this little candle here. Let's see, the coffee mug is here. And these books are, which books are those? These, but I put them backwards. So you have the opening on this side on this paper, and I put them on the opposite side. So that's why they kind of look a little bit different. The glasses I got from right here, and then the little bookmark is there. So all of these cutout pieces came from the DSP, and those were just fussy cut. And then I die cut the frame here out of our gold foil. And then I used the plant. This is the this piece here to get this, which it's just a piece which has this little plant here. It was like a little scrap that I had when I created this card. So we're going to do the same thing with this one, where I'm going to stick this on here. And then we're just going to snip. And then we're just going to glue that down. And that just kind of gives us a little cute little picture frame. And we're just going to glue. And then glue that down. So let that set for a second. All right, so I have all the pieces cut out. All right, let's see. A couple of these are for the outside. So this is for this one. What is this? I cut that piece. This and these, that is for the outside. That's for the outside. This for the outside. And what is this? That's my cut piece. Okay. And then these are the inside. Perfect. All right, so we're just going to start putting these down. I did put these all up on dimensionals. And since it's DSP, I did make sure that I had enough dimensionals around so that it didn't curl on me. And I just don't have my small ones out, otherwise I would use some of the small ones. And I'm just going to stick this one right here, like that. Then, where's my little lamp? We're going to take the lamp here, stick this one here. And then I just want two little pieces for these two little corners, because I found out the hard way that they will snag. So I'm just going to stick those right there. Let's take this off so I can pick this up. All right. Pull these off. Maybe. There we go. And then this one is going to go right here. We have our tiny little candle. Let's see, let's get a little one. Here we go. And this one is just going to go right beside our lamp. Then we've got our little books here with the little lights on top, candles. Stick that there. And then I'm going to stick this guy going up into that candle. And these will go right here in this corner. And then we have this stack of books here. And I put it going this way on here. So we're going to stick one there, one here. And then these are just going to go right down here. Here we go. I'm going to take my cup and let's see, we'll get this half one here. And this is just going to sit right on our books. And then we're going to take our cute little picture frame. I'm going to take this small one here. This is going to go in the bottom edge. Which way do we want this to go? We want it to go this way. So this is going to go on our bottom edge. So it pops out at the bottom, and then we're going to put glue on the top edge so that it makes it look like it's actually a picture frame leaning. Here we go. And then we're just going to glue down our little bookmark. The bookmark goes on this side here. And then our little glasses. Let's see, these are also glued. These are just going to go right here. Like that. Isn't that so pretty? Then this actually goes on the inside. I think I didn't do my sheets for the inside yet. I apparently cut that one since I was cutting stuff out. So we're going to embellish this with the hexagons, and this one I also used the, did I use this one? Nope, I used the lighter. Yep, I used this one here. I don't know what color this is. Maybe Lost Lagoon, possibly. So we are going to stick one large and two small. And that's our card. And then we are going to make the cute little pocket envelope here. And to do that, let's see, move this out of the way. I'm going to grab my trimmer. We are going to use this piece of DSP right here. I did go ahead and write out so you guys could see the dimensions. So I'll stick those right here. It'll be, you can see it better once I'm done cutting. But I'm going to stick it there for the moment. So we're going to pull out our arm. We're going to cut, whoops. Since this is a directional paper, it's going to be up and down is going to be your direction. You're going to want your direction to go. So I'm going to cut this at 7. Just like that. And then with the pattern going left to right, we're going to cut at 9. Then with the short side, so we have our long side here and a short side here. So with our short side up, we are going to score at 1/2 inch, which I'm actually going to do it this way because it's easier for me to see it. So we're going to do 1/2 inch. And with DSP, you always want to go very lightly with your scoring tool, so I just go back quite a few times. I don't think I'm in frame. And then I just feel it to make sure. So that's as if you were to put this right here and go for 1/2 inch. And now I'm going to put this at 6 1/2. And then I'm going to do the same thing. These are going to be the sides for our pocket. Hey Maggie, how are you? Hope you're having a good evening. All right, so that was the short side. So now we're going to put our long side up, and then we're just going to score this in half, which is going to be 4 1/2. And again, we're just going to go very lightly, but I like to go quite a few times just to make sure. Sometimes it doesn't. That's perfect. All right. So we can put this away. And you guys can see here, hopefully you can screenshot it. It's cut 7 by 9. And then you score with the short side up. You're going to score 1/2 inch each side, or 1/2 and then 6 1/2. And then with the long side up, you're going to score at 4 1/2, which is the middle. Yes, I'm doing very good. Thank you, Maggie. We're working with the On Display bundle. We've made some really cute projects. The one we are working on now is this one here. We made the card already. And this one has an envelope, a cute little pocket envelope for the card to go in. So cute. All right, so we're working on the envelope. So we're going to fold this in half, and we're going to burnish. Whoops. And then we're going to fold each of these sides. Just like this. Burnish those two. There we go. All right. Now we're going to look and see which side is the front. So this side is the front, since it's a directional pattern. I want this to be the front of my envelope. So with knowing this is the front, this is the side I want to glue my flap down to. So I'm going to open this up. This is my front piece. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on my little edge here, my little scored outside edge, and we are just going to glue that down. I love pocket envelopes. They are my absolute favorite. I don't know. One day I just started playing around. I'm sure people have made it before, but I just started playing around with paper, and I made one of these as a little gift card, and then I just started making them for the large things too, because I just love them. They're just so cute. All right, we're going to do that same thing on the other side. Make sure these are stuck down. All right, so this is the front. We have our sides glued down. These we're going to leave like this, but we are going to, on the outside, we're going to put glue here, because we are going to glue this to the front. This is what's going to make our little pocket. And I'm just going to push this down and make sure these are flat. You can use your bone folder, or you can even use a block. Just kind of go over them to make sure that they stick. All right, so now we have our pocket. And the reason, for me at least, why I like to know the front is when you open it this way, you can't tell on this back side here when you open it, you can't tell there's anything glued to it. Whereas when you go this way, you can see where that's glued. So I like it to be that glued part is in the front, so when you're looking at it this way and opening it, you don't see that seam. It's kind of hidden. All right, so we are going to do birthday wishes, and this is also from the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar stamp set. And let's see, that one is this one right here. We are going to do, I'm actually going to do espresso. I think that one was, is that espresso? I don't know if that is espresso or pecan pie. I can't tell. Thank you, Maggie. All right, so we are going to grab one of my longer blocks here. And then I just had them. Here they are. These are from the Textured Notes dies. These are the same ones as from our little card here. No, this one is the same size as the Secret C, and this one's the size up. All right, so we're going to take our birthday wishes. I think I'm going to go to the side here because I need to re-ink this one. Ink this up. And then on, this is Petal Pink. So we're going to put this here in the middle. Here we go. And close this up. Yeah, I think that was, I can't tell. It's very light, if it is. All right, so we are going to glue the Petal Pink to Cajun Craze, actually. This is Cajun Craze. It matched better with these books, the colors of the books, than the coral did. All right, so we've got that. Then we have this cute little old olive Rickrack ribbon that we are going to wrap around. And this is, I believe this is coming out tomorrow. Is this coming out tomorrow? I think this comes out tomorrow. I forget which. I think this is with the flower suite that's coming out tomorrow. Pretty sure. And what we're going to do is grab a piece of tape. I'm going to get this here in the center, or as center as I can get it. I'm just going to stick a piece of tape right over across of that. I'm going to grab another piece of tape so I'm ready to go. And we are going to, thank you, back to the bus up. Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was tomorrow. They've been doing so many pre-orders here recently, I get confused at times. All right, so I'm just going to make sure this is straight across here. I'm going to pull it pretty tight, and then I'm going to stick my tape right over that. I'm going to make sure it is really stuck down, because that ribbon is a little bit puffy. And then I'm just going to snip this off. And I haven't put my little thing on here yet to corral my extra strands. Ah, Donna. Thank you. Thank you, Donna. I like that name. That's a pretty name. All right, so then we're going to take our sentiment here. We're going to pop this up, but since we have our piece of ribbon here in the center, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my dimensionals on just the edges so that we don't pop it up on that. So I'm not going to put one in the middle because it will, it'll bump it up a little bit. And I didn't like when it did that. So if you want to have it on up in the middle, then you're going to want to do one there and one here, like that, so that it's not going to interfere with your ribbon here. It just makes it not even when you put it down. All right, and one more. Did I get them all? I think so. All right, this is going to go here in the center. There we go. Like that. Then we have our little kitty cat. We're going to do little birds, and then we've got the little globe. For these, I showed how to do the kitty cat. It's two-step stamp. This one is also the, which one? This is crumb cake and early espresso for the kitty cat. And then, let's see, for the globe, this is balmy blue. And let me grab my thing here. So for the globe, it's this stamp right here. And then the kitty cat is, this is the back. So this one is the crumb cake. And this one is the early espresso. And then for our little birds on the inside, it's going to be these little guys right here. And then to cut out the cage, this is gold foil for the cage and the little stand for the globe. Those are, it's easier to see them on my thing here. This one is for the globe. And then, what's the other one? The cage. It's the inside cage. There's two pieces, so it's this inside piece. All right, so, and then the globe is just the circle one. There's a little circle die right here. So that's for the globe. And what we're going to do, I have a piece of basic white right here. And I am going to, let's see, that is Coastal Cabana. So I'm going to take my Coastal Cabana. I'm going to grab my birds. And then we are going to stick the birds on a block. Oh, you got the DSP on the pre-order, but haven't made any cards with it yet. Yeah, I know. It's this is such a cute bundle. I also, if you want other ideas too, I did another video on November 10th. If you go in the description, it has the little potted plant icon next to it, the link. I did a couple other cards with this back in November. I love this this set. It's just so pretty. This set is on display. It's this one right here. So you've got the, and it comes in two of these. I just put mine together. So it has the stamp set and the die set with it. And then the paper is the Hobby Haven paper. This one right here. It's so pretty. I love this paper so much. It's absolutely gorgeous. And these are the other ones that we made tonight too. You'll see them at the end, but just in case you have to pop off. So we did this one. We did this one here. And this one. Super cute. And then this card is the one that goes with this envelope here. All right, so we have our piece of basic white. I got off on a tangent there. We're just going to stamp in our little birds. And this is Coastal Cabana. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my, this is, it comes out so it's see-through. All those little pieces come out. I'm just going to put glue on, got a little bit of the yucky stuff on there. Get off of there. On this little corner right here. It is not wanting to come out. All right, let's try it now. Here we go. So this little corner, and then just very lightly along the bottom. And I'm just going to stick this right over top of the birds. You can also use your adhesive sheet with this if you want. I just didn't do that. Probably would have been smart. And again, this is the gold foil. And I'm just going to take my snips and I'm just going to snip right around. And I'm kind of snipping a little bit at an angle. So I'm kind of getting a tiny bit closer than if I were just right on top of it. Stick back down there. And just because I don't want to see any of that white on the side. Here we go. So there's our little birds. You can also use your brushes, your blending brushes, and blend a color in there to make it not white if you want a different color background on it. All right, we're going to take our globe holder, I guess, the globe stand. I'm going to flip it upside down. I'm going to take my globe and I'm going to put it upside down. And I'm just going to put these two together as close as I can. And then I'm going to take a dimensional. And I'm going to stick that dimensional as close to the edge as I can so that it's going to stick the holder to it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the top. I'm going to get a smaller dimensional though. Let's just cut this one. Whoops. So I'm going to do the same thing up here towards the top. Stick it right at the very edge there. And I want this one to go this way. I gotta flip it around so I can see. There we go. It's just going to go right there on the edge. This is a really sticky dimensional. There we go. All right. Stick. It's because it's stuck to me and not to the... You know what we're going to do? Is I'm going to just try to tape it. It worked better off camera. I've done so many of these globes, it just doesn't want to work because I'm doing it on camera. Let's see. Let's just try one of the big ones. I haven't had a single problem with it. There we go. All right. Just like that. And again, that's with that gold foil. And we are going to take our globe. That one came off there. And then we are going to stick this down here. We're going to take our little birds. I'm going to put a dimensional down on the very bottom edge here because it's going to hang off. And then I'm going to put glue right up here at the very top. And I'm just going to stick this right here. Make sure it's straight. And then we've got our cute little cat. And we're going to glue him. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom here and then on his tail. And we're just going to stick him right here at the edge. You can also put a dimensional behind him if you want to. I don't remember. I didn't on that one. Like that. And then I embellished again with the hexagons. And I used the same ones. These, I think these are Lost Lagoon, maybe. I used to write the colors on the backs of the embellishments, but I haven't done that in a little while. All right, there we go. And we have our cute card, and that fits right here in our pocket. So cute. And again, the dimensions for that, you cut 7 by 9. Your DSP, if it's directional, you're going to want it up and down is your direction, and you're going to want that to be the 7 inches. And then scoring is 1/2 inch on each side, or 1/2 inch and 6.5 inches. And then long side up is 4.5. So you can screenshot that if you want. And we can go ahead and take a look at everything we have made today. So we have this one here. We made our own DSP back there. Super pretty. Then we have this one here. Really cute. The other little kitty cat. This one here. So pretty. I think this one's my favorite. And then our cute pocket card, or pocket envelope with card. And we have that. So cute. You'll have to let me know in the description, or in the comments, I mean, which one of these is your favorite. I think this one's my favorite, but I like the colors of this one. This one's really pretty too. I like all of them. All right. And again, I do have another video. If you go in the description and look for the little icon with the plant, potted plant, these are the cards that are in that video. This one here. And we did this one in that video. This one. And this one. I thought that was cute. Treat your shelf. I cracked up when I realized that, because I didn't know, when I first stamped it, I didn't realize it said shelf. So that is linked in the description if you are interested in that video as well. And my next live will be next Monday, January 12th, 6:30 p.m. And I'm going to be doing the Blessed Beginnings bundle. It's a really cute bundle. It's like a little church bundle. I'm really excited to play with that. I've always loved I love the little kitty cat too. He's so cute. He's really cute in, what is it? Smoky Slate. He's really cute in Smoky Slate and Basic Gray. I'm looking at my colors over here. That combination too, it's really cute in that. There wasn't gray in the papers I chose, so I went with the browns, but he's really cute in Smoky Slate too. All right, and if you haven't already, go ahead and follow me on all my socials. I have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And again, if you are local to the Charlotte, Monroe, Indian Trail, North Carolina area, I am starting my classes, monthly classes, starting this Thursday, and it is every second Thursday of the month. Linked in the description. You can look for the little apple, and that has the link where you can sign up if you're interested in coming to that. And let's see, if you enjoyed this video tonight, please put this emoji down in the comments, or the word plants if you can't find the emoji, so that I can say thank you so much for watching and staying till the end. I really appreciate it. It helps my channel so much, and I love bringing you guys these projects every week. It's like the highlight of my week. I have such a fun time creating them and showing them to you guys. All right, so thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me tonight. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you right back here next Monday for a brand new video. Bye!